Here's what you need. Baby Yukon potatoes, garlic, shallots, butter, extra virgin olive oil, some capers, rosemary, chives, lemon juice, some salt, and pepper. Okay, so Randy, before you start making this, I just want to let our viewers know that this recipe they're about to see is a viral TikTok sensation. Why do you think it's so popular?
You know what? It's the simplicity. It's like minimum effort, but maximum results. It's a one pan and you're done. And basically it talks to you as it reduces down.
Oh, I love that. Okay, how do we get started?
Okay, it's really simple. We have one pan potatoes, so we need a really large pan. I went with non-stick, but you can actually go cast iron if you want to. And we all see those bags of potatoes. I think they're like 1 pound. These are Yukon Golds, skin on, but any baby potato will do. Little russets or little reds will even work. Now, the water is very important, Tracy. So what we're looking for here is the right amount of water, because too much water and they'll get a little soggy, and not enough, and you're gonna have to just add a little bit more. So you take a close look, almost drowning them, but they're just like, they got their lips above water, you know, they're just on their tippy toes and they're still breathing. And the reason for that is when we turn the water on and get the heat up, it's gonna expand and it's gonna cover the potatoes. And now this is where the fun comes in. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
4 glugs of olive oil, which is a lot of olive oil, but that's okay. And then 1 nub of butter. And once again, people are like, that's a lot of fat. But what's gonna happen here is the water's gonna evaporate, and then the fat, the olive oil and the butter is gonna go into the potato, and it's gonna stay there, and then it's gonna get super crispy as it comes down, and that's where all the flavor is gonna be. We're also gonna add chunks of garlic. Don't be afraid, you can go a little larger because they're gonna get a little bit sweeter and kind of turn into chips later. And then some capers. I got butter fingers, literally. Capers with a little bit of the brine. So now the #1 comment was, you know what, you can use stock as well, but just be careful, because if the stock has a lot of salt in it, by reducing it all down, it could get a little salty. So then the final touch, you can use rosemary or thyme, just toss it in, no big deal, is turning it on. And so you turn these potatoes on, Tracy, and they just kind of like simmer away, and they're doing their thing, and you can hear it as you're like doing whatever, your Instagram or playing with your kids. You can kind of hear it bubbling away. But as it gets closer to a reduction or a glaze, it starts getting a little bit louder. So you don't even need to set a timer or anything. The dish will actually yell at you and be like, hey, I need some attention. So on my back stove here, I actually have some of those potatoes right now that need some attention. You take a look. Once the heat starts hitting them, you get that snapping, and they're crackling, and they're getting all golden, and the shallots have gotten golden, and the garlic is looking crisp. And at this stage, we haven't added anything else. There's no other fat or butter or anything like that. Just take a ramekin or the bottom of a glass and pop them. Just like kind of crush them a little bit. And this is gonna open them up, and that's what we call a smashed potato, right? And now we're gonna let the moisture and the fats inside there, it's gonna kind of get even crispier. And they stand together, but you just kind of let that go. And you can just kind of like, oh, if you kind of get in here, the caper got really crispy. It's like just a little salt nugget in there.
I have 2 questions for you, Chef. The first one is, did you start with the heat on? And the second question is, how long did it take before those potatoes started talking to you?
So yeah, Tracy, I started with a cold pan, cold water goes in, crank it high and hot, as high as it'll go, and you want to race to reduce it down. It should take about maybe 13 to 15 minutes. And then that's when you want to take it from, like, when it starts talking to you and yelling at you and saying, hey, I'm in a hot pan. That's when you take it down to medium and you crush it, and then you get these shatteringly crisp, gorgeous looking potatoes. I just went super simple. So I went a bunch of chives. This is green onions today, right? And then a little bit of lemon, believe it or not, just to kind of like cut it, and it just kind of like elevates it. Now that being said, some little flaky salt too. That being said, when it was all done, we did go and get some sour cream.
Oh,
but today is a new day. We're on a bit of a diet. So today what we're gonna do is just a little bit of a salsa verde with yogurt on the side, because we had too much potatoes and sour cream before. So, you know, you don't always have to go sour cream. You can go yogurt as well. But there it is. It goes with everything, and I think that's why it's so popular.
I think that's beautiful, and it is about balance. So do it the way you want to do it for your family that day. I love the chives and the lemon. This is a great combination. Randy, thank you.